Finally, a few minutes late, our tech support person was struggling.
Our operations manager was having issues.
Now
All right.
check on your Instagram and see if your page changed and your Go live button is available.
Yeah. Okay, let's take a look. I
No,
love looking at cell phone
on your
video
computer.
on
You
my
gotta go.
computer.
Yeah, the little window. We've got people jumping in here on Instagram. So this is Real Talk Tuesday, real estate Q&A live stream. So if you have questions, anything related to real estate, pop them into the comments and we will make sure that we get them covered today. It can be anything that you want to know about, whether it comes to what does it take to qualify, questions about investing in real estate, what does the market look like, what kind of down payment assistance programs there are, what kind of credit do you need to buy a home, what money do you need for down payment, like anything that you can think of as a question related to real estate. We are here to answer that for you tonight. And hopefully you're catching us on either Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube. Any of those platforms that you are catching us on, feel free to type in your questions into the chat. And if you do participate here and you're interested in having a consultation with Jackie or I about what it takes to purchase a home, you will get a coupon for up to $1,350 in closing cost credit, $650 toward an appraisal, $700 toward a home warranty. From Jackie is the home warranty, and for me is the appraisal. So if you participate, it doesn't matter when you actually purchase. So if you're thinking about buying a home or wondering what it takes, maybe you're in a lease till next year, and you're interacting with us, sending us a DM or a comment, we'll get you that coupon. Even if it's next year that you purchase, we will honor that coupon for you because we're not smart enough to do anything else with our lives, so we're still going to be here next year.
That's funny. I bet people found that really funny.
Well, if they got to say no, it's true.
Well, we're here, so I proved something. And we actually have a special announcement. We are holding a webinar this Thursday at 5:30. From 5:30 to 7, we're going to teach you how to turn one home into three. So if you want to find out how you can start building wealth in real estate, make sure to sign up and make sure to send us a message for more information. We're also going to have a very special promotion during that webinar. We're going to announce it until that day so you can join us and we can help you buy your three homes.
I'm going to go ahead and put into the chat the sign up page. Yes, for the webinar on Thursday.
If you're curious or if you have any questions about buying a home, what it takes, how can you start building wealth in real estate, this webinar is for you. Even if your plans are to just buy one home right now, we're still going to be able to give you a lot of very important information for you to accomplish that. And we can actually set up free consultations from that call or even now to go over any of the questions that you have or any challenges that you have that you think that are preventing you from buying your first home.
There's nothing that should prevent you from it, right?
Now when you work with us, no.
Whether it's today or tomorrow or next year, we'll figure out a way. If it's not possible today, we'll figure out a plan for you so that it can be possible down the road.
Yes, so it's definitely not ever a no with us. Is how can we get this done? How can we get you ready and to the point where you are fully there to purchase your first home? Or if you're a homeowner and you're wanting to upgrade, downgrade, or just looking to make a move, we can also help you there. And this page is actually designed for us to answer any of your real estate related questions, anything that you have questions on regarding the market, regarding closing costs, regarding down payment options, regarding different programs. We are here for you. So if you do have any questions, make sure to type them in the comments. Hopefully one of us will be able to see them and answer them.
Someone will find it.
Someone will find it. Yes, yes. And if you want to just hang out So we're not just talking to ourselves for the next hour. You're more than welcome to do that too. Show us your support. Send us a little heart, a little emoji, something to let us know that you're here. And
Last
that
week you were asking for roses on TikTok.
I got some roses. Let me tell you. Well, thanks. I mean, I hosted a live to get to be able to accomplish the lives that I needed to host, or to be able to show my entire face as a guest. And yeah, I got a lot of likes and hearts and smiley faces, roses. So one tip though, make sure you're not driving while you're trying to host a live on TikTok or anywhere. It's not safe. Don't be a Jackie. But if you are wanting to find out anything about homes, not hosting lives, give me a call. I'm actually good at that. I'm not good at hosting lives, but I'm good at selling homes and helping you.
Yeah, but you just did a reel or a TikTok talking about.
I actually just got a message with a rose and a heart. Thank you very much. On Facebook. I know people are watching. So if you're watching and you have questions, make sure to comment, and just comment. Actually, don't send me a message because I might be able to see them if you comment instead of messaging me or us.
I'm trying to scour some of the news headlines. One of the things that's come up we should probably talk about a little bit is regarding credit scores. Have you seen some of the news about credit scores lately, Jackie?
I have. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that?
So a lot of people have probably heard of FICO scores. They may or may not have heard of Vantage scores. And they've been in the news a little bit lately because the, what's his title? I forget his title, but he's the head of the FHFA, Bill Pulte. He came out last week, I believe it was, and he said that that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are going to immediately start accepting Vantage credit scores. And that has never happened before in the mortgage industry ever since I've been in it for a long time. Actually, I think I was in it before we had credit scores. But ever since we've had credit scores, we've used FICO scores. Those are scores generated by the Fair Isaac Company. And in the mortgage industry, we actually use really old scores. They're from over 10 years ago. And there's a new credit scoring model, not that new anymore, but it's called the Vantage score. It was developed by the 3 credit bureaus because they basically wanted to find another way to make money by selling credit scores since they weren't making money on the FICO scores. So they came out with this Vantage score. And they've been slowly making inroads into different industries. And they've been trying to get into the mortgage industry. There was some legislation passed that said that they were going to work on trying to integrate that into the mortgage industry. And then just last week, Bill Pulte came out and said, no, we're going to start taking them now. The only thing is, no one's ready for it. He just basically posted on X and said, we're going to start doing this, but mortgage companies aren't prepared for it. Credit reporting companies that we use to pull credit reports are not ready for it. So even though you may have heard in the news that Vantage scores are going to be accepted, they're not accepted yet. And one of the big reasons that they wanted to do that is because in the Vantage scoring model, they factor in your rent payments. So you can actually have a positive rental history calculated into your Vantage scores. And if you've had a good rental history, that can actually help out giving you higher credit scores. What wasn't talked about very much is for, I want to say 2 or 3 years now, the underwriting systems that we all use to approve the loans have actually been factoring in the positive rent history. So FHA loans and conventional loans, if you allow the systems, the lender to connect to your bank account. So a lot of times, people might be using things like Credit Karma, or it used to be Mint or Rocket Money, or all these different systems where you manage your money through there. And maybe they look at your bank accounts and they see, okay, what kind of subscriptions do you have? Are you using it? Do you want to cancel these? So all those types of apps, when you set them up, you have to connect them to your bank accounts. and you connect them to your credit cards and different things like that. Well, that connection can be used in the mortgage industry for the mortgage underwriting systems to go connect to your bank account and see, okay, can we find what looks to be a rent payment? And does it look like it's consistent every month? That's been going on for a few years. So rents have already been factored into things. And then we also have a way to do it manually through FHA by actually documenting it on your bank statements. So those things have been used in approving loans. Where they haven't been factored in is actually into the scores. So let's say you had a really good credit history on your rent, but maybe the rest of your credit was moderate. Maybe let's say it was 600 and you had a really good rent history. Well, that rent history might have been okay for FHA, but you're actually too low for a conventional loan on the scores. Well, if the Vantage score will factor that in, that could potentially boost your scores up above that minimum 620 for conventional loans. So overall, it's a good thing because it might provide some more improvement for people to be able to have better scores to qualify for the mortgage programs. So it's a good thing. We lost Jackie. I'm hoping she'll come back. But it's a good thing overall if people have some of the other things that have not traditionally been factored into the credit scores get included into the credit scoring models. And if they do that, that will hopefully help more people be able to qualify for homeownership. We have a big J-O on the screen, but we can't see Jackie, so we'll see if she can fix it.
I'm here. I don't know what's going on. It says press B to enable camera. I'm literally pressing the V.
You can tell Jackie is her own tech support.
Yes, I'm the one running tech support. That's why we started 5 minutes after 5. Press V. I'm pressing it.
So the credit scoring thing is one thing that's come up, but in addition, another piece of news just came out today. Like I just heard it about an hour before we got started, and there was some changes that the CFPB put into place related to medical collections, where medical collections under a certain dollar amount were no longer going to be reported on your credit bureau. And then if you paid a medical collection of any dollar amount, that would be deleted from your credit profile. That was actually something that was very, very helpful and welcoming, because if you've ever gone through any kind of medical expenses, you know, the whole medical billing process, it is an absolute joke. And sometimes things will end up in collections while you're still waiting for insurance to get sorted through. That was a really good thing, except I didn't pay attention to the news because it was real shortly before this to see who filed suit. But somebody filed suit, and a judge basically found that the CFPB overstepped its authority in passing those rules and basically rescinded that. I don't know if that'll be something that'll continue to get appealed and continue on. I got to do a little bit more research. But that could potentially be pretty negative if people were not having some medical collections show up on their credit reports, and then all of a sudden they could show up on the credit report. That would be a bad thing. So we'll have to see how that's going to shake out over the coming weeks or months.
I'm still here. You can't see me, right?
We cannot see you. We see J-O.
The ghost of Joe.
Joe, what's up?
Would it disrupt everything if I log in again?
You can jump out and jump back in.
Okay, I'll be back.
There's always more stuff that I can talk about with all the things that are happening in the world.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's make sure that we don't bore them.
Oh, well, now that I cannot promise. I love it how Jackie leaves the room and says, don't bore them. And then I'm left here talking basically to myself. So if you're still watching, I can see some people watching. I don't know what platforms you're on. You got a question, make sure you put it in. And remember, if you do put in a question or a comment or a DM to either of us and you ask us to send you the coupon, we will definitely send you a copy of the coupon for the closing cost credit. And see, Jackie, I was talking about giving money away, so I hope that wasn't too boring.
Okay, am I back?
You're back. We can see you.
Now you're black. Like,
I'm not black.
well,
I.
oh, I was gonna show you how it looked, but now you're back. I think it's
I've
some.
always been here.
It's my problem. I'm the problem. It's not you. It's me.
Yeah, that seems to be something you say all the time to me.
Yeah. It's not you, Brian. It's me.
Oh man. So there was another thing I was going to bring up, and of course, this whole fiasco with your camera made me forget it.
You were talking about the news. You were talking about Vantage credit scores, FICO scores, new news on medical collections.
Yeah, and there was one thing after the medical collections I was going to talk about, but as is usual, I forgot what I was going to say, so we'll have to come up with something else. Let me go check and see if we got some questions to post here. I did have a scenario I was talking about with somebody a little bit ago, and that I was going to share because he actually brought up something that I usually bring up to people. And I think it's really smart to think about this. This was a gentleman who was looking to purchase a home in the higher price range. So it was surprisingly a first-time home buyer, but he's buying up in Sedona. So if you know Sedona at all, it's not cheap up there. So it was over $1 million property, and he was able to put more than 20% down. He wanted to do 20% down because he wanted to avoid mortgage insurance. Well, one of the things that people don't really realize is, number one, if you have mortgage insurance, it is, for most people, tax deductible. It used to be that it wasn't, and a lot of times that was the main reason why people were trying to stay away from paying mortgage insurance, because it was an added expense monthly on the payment. And with that added expense monthly, you couldn't write it off on your taxes. So it's kind of like a double whammy. I got to pay this extra fee, and then I can't deduct it off my taxes. Well, that is no longer the case, hasn't been the case for a while. There is the ability to write off mortgage insurance payments as a tax deduction if you itemize your taxes. So I let him know that he didn't necessarily have to put 20% down to avoid mortgage insurance, because the other thing is, when you get up over the conforming loan limits, which in Maricopa County and most counties in the country, not all counties, the maximum loan for a conforming loan is $806,500. If you go over that, jumbo loans do not have mortgage insurance. So you could actually put 10 or 15% down and not have mortgage insurance anyway. Now, the downside is interest rates are a little higher on those. So it is something that we show people numbers both ways to see if you have the option for avoiding mortgage insurance, what it would look like, or if you just had a little higher interest rate, what that would look like. And then there's also times where we might do 2 loans on a purchase at the same time instead of doing 1 loan, just to try to structure things to make moving a little bit easier. Because sometimes people have a house that they want to sell. Actually, a client of Geraldine's wants to sell a house that he has, but he wants to sell it after he buys a house here in Arizona first. So there's ways where we can structure it where we do 2 loans to give you a low down payment on the purchase. And then when you get the sale of the house and you get all the money from the sale, you can take that and pay off one of the loans, so that you're just left with 1 loan at the lower payment that you want for the long haul. So it's a lot of different scenarios that you can get creative with to find solutions for whatever your situation is. So if you guys have any questions like that, you got a unique situation or something that you think is unique or you want to know about, you can always send in comments so that we can answer those live, or if it's better to talk to you directly about it, we can do that at a later time as well.
Yes, and keep in mind these consultations are entirely free. We can take the time to go over your situation with you, to go over anything that you need to know regarding the home buying process, or if you have a question, like you just mentioned, you have a house and you are wanting to get a different home, just different scenarios that you have are individual to you. make sure to give us a call, make sure to message us, or make sure just to reach out to get those scheduled. These are free, whether you're looking to move forward today or in 6 months or even a year. We're definitely here to help you and guide you into the right direction.
For sure.
Did we departing residents? Is someone typing a question?
You got to look around and try to find all the questions on all the different platforms.
Where are we? YouTube, Instagram,
Facebook. That's
Okay.
it for today.
All right. So regarding this question, based on departing residents, can you tell us a little bit more that scenario? Like if you currently have a residence, your primary residence, you're purchasing another primary, what are the options there?
Yeah, so that's sort of what that client I was just mentioning he was doing. So he has a house right now, and he wants to buy another house. And so the question that people have is, okay, do I want to keep my current house, or do I want to sell it? And he wanted to sell it. So there's ways to try to structure things to make that purchase happen first. Sometimes you just have to sell in order to be able to get the money out, or maybe you can't afford to carry 2 mortgage payments. So sometimes you just have to. Other times, like I have another client who's relocating out of Arizona, moving to Nevada, and they don't want to sell first. They want to make the move because they have to do it quickly, started another job, and it might take a little longer to sell a house. So we have to think about, okay, well, what are the options if you have a current house, you're not going to have it sold first? Well, obviously, if you sell it later, you can take the proceeds, like I just mentioned, and use it to pay down the balance on the loan. Or if we structured the purchase with 2 loans, you can pay off one of the loans. We can go into more detail on that if you want to. But the other option is if you want to keep it as a rental. That's something we're going to talk a lot about on Thursday in the webinar at 5:30. And if you want to register, you can register at azhomebuyerclasses.com. So register there. We're going to go into detail on this on Thursday, but the simple answer to that is you can rent out your current property, and depending upon the loan program that you're doing for the purchase will determine how do we treat that. Basically, the simplest idea is we want to rent it out to try to get enough rental income to try to cover the mortgage payment. Now, a lot of people that bought houses or maybe refinanced houses in 2020, 2021, they've got crazy low interest rates. And that might be why they don't want to move. They're like, I got a 2.5% interest rate. I'm never leaving this house. Well, that's cool. We love that. But what that means is you have a low payment. If you go rent that house out, you're probably going to be in a pretty good position having some positive cash flow. So you might have $500 or $1,000 a month in positive cash flow that you can use to offset the payment being a little higher than you'd like it on the new house that you purchase. Well, depending upon the loan program, there's a few different ways that it's treated. As if you're doing a conventional loan on the purchase, we're able to use 75% of the new lease amount as long as you've leased it and you have a signed lease and receipt of your security deposit and first month's rent from your tenant. Then we can use 75% of that rental amount to offset the mortgage payment. If you haven't rented any mortgage payments before, or haven't rented any houses before.
I've never rented mortgage payments. How is that like?
It's a new program I just came up with. If you've never rented houses out before, you've never been a landlord, then we're not going to be able to give you that positive cash flow, but we can just wash out the payment.
Are you new to landlording?
Huh?
If you want to start landlording.
Yeah, if you want to start landlording. But you can wash out the payment. So that makes it so now you only have to qualify for the payment on the new house. So that's conventional loan.
Yeah, and I actually, a lot of people are sitting on a ton of equity, have very low payments to where it's it makes sense to do something like that. I actually just had a client that had, I think, an $800 or $900 payment, and they're gonna be able to rent their house for 2,500. So with that cash flow, they were able to essentially make up for. They wanted to purchase another house, and they did. They just closed on it, and with that cash flow from the other property, they're going to be able to essentially make up the payment from the higher amount on this other loan while still having someone else pay their mortgage. And that's how, that's one of the ways that you can have more than one property, start landlording, and have someone else pay for that mortgage and make a little bit of cash flow to be able to accomplish things as upgrading a home.
Yeah, that's the thing is, people a lot of times just kind of get their mindset kind of stuck in this thinking that, well, I don't want to give up an interest rate. Well, don't give it up. Keep it.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that low interest rate and create a lot of positive cash flow for yourself. So the other thing is we have FHA loans that you might use for the purchase. If you're using an FHA loan for the new purchase, then what you can do is you'd have to actually be moving 100 miles away from the current house in order to be able to use rental income on your departing residence to offset the payment. So if you're not moving 100 miles away, then that's going to be pretty tough to be able to use the departing residence income. So in that case, we'd probably tell you FHA is not the loan program for you. We got to go conventional. Did you have a comment?
No. Somebody said hello. Hello. Hey, was that on YouTube?
That is on YouTube. Donut,
Right, well,
Lord. Donut, Lord.
Donut Lord. What questions can we answer for you?
While we're waiting for a
I
response,
want some donuts now.
that was the worst thing to come up. You had a little squirrel run by. Now you're just completely distracted.
I want donuts.
The other thing that I want to bring up is for somebody that is a veteran or an active duty service member that has VA loan eligibility. This is actually the best and easiest way to go when you are leaving one house and going to the next property. So using your VA loan is an incredible tool because you don't actually have to have a lease signed by somebody on your departing residence. You don't have to have security deposit, rent, nothing. We do an automated rental assessment, or we can take one from your realtor of what the market rents are. And we can, with some lenders, even use 100% of the market rents to offset the current monthly payment on that property. So that one gives you a lot of flexibility to be able to qualify for that next property if you're using a VA loan without actually having to get it leased. Our buddy Frank is giving us some claps on Facebook. Thank you, Frank.
What questions do you have, Frank?
Frank, you must have a lot of questions. Feel free to ask us any questions you want to ask us, and we will answer them for you, even if they're just like tangentially related to real estate. We never know what Frank's going to say.
I'm sure he wants to know about the 1% down payment assistance program, conventional program, and who qualifies for it.
Frank, do you want to know about the 1% down conventional loan program?
Yes.
We'll have to see.
You know I speak for Frank.
Yeah, that's another really good program is, and we don't know how long it's going to be around. So if this is something that's of interest, then definitely reach out because this program sort of comes and goes and it changes a little bit every time it comes out. Right now, what it is, it's for people that can qualify for a conventional loan. So the minimum credit score is 620. The reality is you probably got to be in the mid to high 600s for it to work. Because as I mentioned before about the automated underwriting systems that we use, those things still have to approve you, even though you might meet the minimum score requirement. So, but if you meet 620 requirement, the unique thing is you do not have to be a first-time home buyer to qualify. You just have to be at 80% of the area median income or below. And I keep forgetting to commit this to memory, but it's about $87,000 in Maricopa and Pinal counties. I think it's 76,000 and change in Pima County. So if you're under that limit, then you can qualify. Again, you don't have to be a first-time home buyer. And what happens is you have to, so the normal down payment is 3%, but we will give you a grant of 2% of the purchase price up to $7,000. So you could be buying up to $350,000 house and just come in with 1% down. Now, you can buy it more expensive than $350,000, that's fine, but the grant that we're going to give is capped out at $7,000. So you can come in with a very small down payment. You can get up to 3% in seller concessions from the seller if you have a great agent negotiating on your behalf. If you have no agent or a bad agent, maybe you won't get that 3% in seller concessions. So with that, you can get seller concessions to cover most of your closing costs. You can get the grant money for most of the down payment, have 1% out of your pocket. But if you have a little bit more than that, what we've been doing lately is actually buying the interest rate down by still having you come in with a little bit of money. And that helps you have lower payments and therefore qualify for a little bit more expensive house if you can't quite find the house that you like in the price range that you would be normally qualified for. So we can get a little bit creative if you have a little bit of money, but you can also get in with very little money on that program. It's really good fun.
You definitely can. I know that we briefly talked about this last time, but this is definitely a good alternative if you are maybe in a lease that's going to be ending soon, or you need to break your lease. You can save some money there by taking advantage of this program. And what you save with that, plus the negotiation or plus the closing costs that I will be able to negotiate for you, will give you the opportunity to break your lease before the date and be able to take advantage of this program. I know I have a couple of people that their leases are coming up in December, October, November, even some at the beginning of the year. And I always tell them that there's definitely options. One of them, like we talked before, is aligning your closing date. So you essentially have a first due date or first mortgage payment that falls a couple months after. So you're not paying two houses at the same time. Another option, if you do qualify for this program, like I said, is a really good program that you can take advantage of, even if you do have potentially the down payment funds. This grant can help you save for breaking your lease if it makes sense for you right now. But if you're in that situation, if you're renting right now, looking to buy in the next 6 to 12 months, definitely make sure to reach out, because we definitely have solutions for you and we can create a plan. So when the time is right, we can get that done for you. Oh,
Always best to start the process early, regardless of when you think you're going to buy. You might have a lease up way out there, but I always find that the sooner that people start, the better we can plan. And sometimes that plan is you don't have to wait, because we can negotiate, you out of your lease early, minimize whatever penalties. Sometimes if you can find somebody else to lease the property, whether you know them or not, you won't be obligated for the remainder of the lease. Like, there's a lot of creative things that can be done, but it never hurts. That's the main thing. It just doesn't hurt to check into things early. If you check into things and you find out maybe you can't do something and it's going to take a little while for you to be able to qualify, well, at least we had the opportunity to check things out and give you a plan.
yes, absolutely. That's what we're here for. We
Yeah.
actually, go ahead.
What are you laughing at?
Oh, I just thought it was funny that we had somebody comment, donut Lord, that's the user account, and that you basically wrote a comment back saying, "Hey, donut Lord."
See, this is all you got to
Do you have
do.
any?
Start talking about donuts and she is just gone. It is all over. See, this is the thing, Jackie. Jackie, you want to be very professional on live streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and it's been my goal to just get you to bust up, and I couldn't do it all this time. And all we had to do is have to have
Donut.
Lord show up, and you'd lose it.
Oh God. Oh God, that's so
Okay,
funny.
so now that we're on the topic, what is your favorite kind of donut?
I like just regular glazed donuts.
Do you have a donut shop that's your favorite?
I would say Bosa.
Post is good.
Krispy Kreme is pretty good too. They're just more expensive. I bought a dozen of donuts the other day for $40. I was like, what? Since when?
Seriously?
Yeah. Well, it was 36.
What do they have, like gold flakes on the frosting?
They were holiday ones. They were like 4th of July ones. On 4th of July, I was craving donuts, so I got the holiday ones with the flags, and they were $36.
Holy cow. See, this is the effects of inflation. If you start buying a dozen donuts on the regular, then you're not going to be able to afford a house.
Maybe make your own donuts, just like the coffee.
I don't know how to make donuts, though.
You don't? Well, TikTok. TikTok is your best friend for DIY projects.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I don't want to learn how to do that. That would be very bad for me.
Well, since we got so off topic, I actually have something that I wanted to bring up, and this was based on a conversation that I was having with somebody that reached out to me this morning. He said one thing that really stood out to me, and that was that he essentially just bought a vehicle, and he was waiting. He wanted to wait a couple months to give it some time for his credit to go back up, because when he purchased the vehicle, his credit score went down like 68 points because of all the inquiries. And I asked him, like, are you doing anything specific? Are you paying down accounts? Are you, like, what are we waiting for? And these are some of the things that we get from people that inquire a lot. People reach out to us and they ask us what the process is for buying. We try to schedule a call, and they're always, I mean, not always, but more often than not, people want to wait until they improve their credit. What they don't know is that we have the ability to give them tools to actually pay things strategically to improve their credit, not just pay off accounts as they go. Like Brian actually has a tool in place that's going to allow him to see which accounts have to be paid, how long it's going to take, and essentially what they have to do for them to improve their score. So I know a lot of times we kind of want to, oh no, like not right now. I just know that if you reach out, you don't have to buy a house right now. You may not even require a full credit inquiry. I know that Brian has the option to do a soft inquiry. Of course, in order to get an approval, you do have to do the full pull on the credit, or the hard pull. But the soft inquiry is going to allow him to see where you're at, what do we need to do, and what do we do to get you ready, or get you to the point so when you are ready to go, we can be here for you.
Yeah, that just kind of goes back to the whole thing. Is like, it doesn't hurt to talk to us. It really doesn't hurt anything. Like, doesn't hurt your credit. It's not like something that goes on your permanent record, you know, that you made an inquiry and you didn't follow through with it. It's really just a fact-finding mission where we get all of your information. We give you lots of answers. We figure out, are you ready to go? Or, you know, do you need to have a plan that we got to work on, whether it's credit or job or anything like that. And then when it's time for you, when the timing is right, that's when you actually do something. That's when you go out shopping. Once we've told you that you're pre-approved, that's when Jackie takes you out shopping and you go find a place. You don't go do that. Like, she's not going to I'm
not going to be knocking on your door.
She's going to put you in her car and start driving you around against your will to show you properties. You have to be on board with this thing. And before that, like, doesn't cost you anything, doesn't hurt your credit, doesn't impact your credit at all. It's just to see what you can do. And then you do it when it's right for you.
Yes, and also, going back to the whole waiting for my credit to improve. There's people that work on their credit for years and schedule a call with us, and in 3 months, we can get them to where they need to be. Why? Because again, Brian has these tools in place that are going to allow him to see what you can work on or what needs to be done in order to get through there. Um, Also, I've worked with clients for years. I talked to clients. I've actually closed clients this year that I've been talking to for the last 2 to 3 years. Just know that you're not obligated to move forward right now, but it's always good to set a plan in place. It's better to start sooner than later. Whether you buy in 2 or 3 years from now or a year from now, you still want to have a plan in place and know what you're going to do in order to get to that point. Imagine you wanting to buy a house next year. 2026 comes along and you start the process in January and you find out that you may have to pay off accounts, that you may not have enough income. You could have been planning ahead for 6 months. Now your lease is due and you're going to probably have to renew it because you don't have a plan in place and you don't have the options. You don't have the ability to see, here's what I need to do. I am ready to go. So when the time comes, it's going to be the right time.
Yeah, even if you don't have credit, like
Oh,
we
that's another one. Yeah. We
just
actually just had somebody, right, go from a no credit score to 800. Or what
yep.
was the score? We're not going to say the name so we can disclose.
I think it was 805. It was a little bit over 800, way
Huh.
higher than it needs to be. But it was one
Yeah.
quick fix. When you don't have credit and you need to establish some credit, there's two things you can do to get it established really quickly. One of them is to have yourself added on as an authorized user to someone else's credit. If they have a really strong, long credit history with a very low balance and a good credit limit and no late payment history, so they have one credit card that's really good, you get added as an authorized user generally within less than a month. That'll report onto your credit report. And now the credit scoring algorithm pulls that information in to calculate your score. And if that's all you've got, your score is going to be really good. Another tool that you can do is with a secured credit card. Lots of different secured credit cards out there. I can recommend one to people that reports a few times a month. So it doesn't take 30 to 45 days to show up on your credit. Generally can show up within about 2 weeks. So that'd be another way to establish some credit really quickly. So
You know,
zero credit or zero scores and still establish something really quick.
I do want to touch back on the whole authorized user thing. I know from experience, a lot of my clients think, let's say that their sons or their children or somebody that they know is trying to purchase and they don't have the credit. Just so you know, adding somebody as an authorized user on one of your accounts is not going to affect your credit. You don't have to give them the card if you don't want to give it to them, and it's not you transferring your credit over to them. It's just the history for that specific account and that specific card. And if you want to keep the card when it comes on the mail, you can. You're just gonna help them with the history. So if you have a family member that may be hesitant to do that because they don't want to let you use their account, you don't have to use it. You can just have the history.
Yeah. It's not something that most people want to just give you a card and let you start charging on, but they'll let you borrow the
Yeah,
history.
yeah, and a lot of people actually do think that adding somebody as an authorized user is gonna like pass their credit on to them, or that they're gonna be able to like essentially if they were co-signing, but they're not. You're not using their credit, you're not using their income. All that is being used is a credit history to help you, not to
Exactly.
help you spend money.
No, we don't want to do that. Definitely don't want to do that. So what else are we going to talk about on Thursday? Give people a kind of a preview of what we're going to talk about.
Well, again, one of the most important topic is how to build wealth and how you can start building wealth into real estate. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, you're already a homeowner, we're going to give you some tools to be able to accomplish one home into three. We're going to talk a little bit about credit. We're going to talk a little bit about home buying myths and just overall a little bit about the real estate market, real estate trends, and teach you how to get to the point where you can buy multiple properties in the next couple of years.
Yeah, there's a whole strategy behind that most people don't know about, and I try to talk about with all of our clients is let them know, hey, there's ways that you can actually acquire multiple properties over a period of time that you don't have to come up with a ton of money to do it. And that's the myth that a lot of people think. There's still people out there that think that you have to put 15, 20% down to be able to buy a house, period. Like we had a client, about a year and a half ago that we closed on. I think that they thought it was 15% down, which was an odd number because usually we hear 20% down is what they think the minimum is, but they thought it was 15% down. They had a whole bunch of money saved up. And then when finally talked to them, it was like, no, you don't have to have that much money. I think they only did 10% down. I can't remember. But yeah, I mean, you can get in with a lot less money than you think. And then you can save some of that money. Like you might have been saving up all this money thinking you had to put 20% down. I mean, you think about it. If you were buying a $400,000 house and you saved up $80,000 so that you could put 20% down, and then you found out that you actually didn't need to do that, you could just buy the house with $20,000 and save the $60,000 and then maybe, buy more property down the road, or maybe invest that money into stock market or whatever. Like, there's a lot of other ways to go about doing this if you make the right plans. So we're going to dive into some details on that on Thursday at 5:30. So if you want to register for that, I put up on the screen here, you can register at www.azhomebuyerclasses.com. It's this Thursday, the 17th at 5:30. It'll probably last a little bit over an hour. We're going to leave some time for questions and answers. And we're going to really get into the details. Like you said, all the myths, some of the fears that people have about buying houses, like what is the market like right now? Is it a good time? Is it not a good time? All the economic stuff that's going on, how does that impact things? What does it take to qualify? Like where can you come up with money for down payment? We're going to talk about all that stuff. And then, the most important piece of it is how can you plan to really build some wealth for yourself and your family for the long term by being strategic and using some plans and some strategies that real estate investors use to be able to acquire a bunch of properties over just a few years instead of having to save up tons and tons of money to be able to buy real estate. So it should be really good.
It will be really good.
Okay.
And we actually have a special promotion other than our current promotion right now. So make sure to sign up so you can find out what it is.
Yes, we have a special promotion for that, but we also have another special promotion for people who are on this live and are comment to us and ask us for the coupon that we're offering. Let me find that coupon, and while I am searching for that coupon, Jackie, tell them what it is.
Let me look on my coupon book.
Do you remember what the coupon is?
Of course I do. I came up with it. So essentially, if you're on this call and if you schedule a consultation with us, or if you message us and let us know, we are actually giving you a credit of $1,350. That's going to be a home warranty by me for up to $699 and a appraisal credit. Are you there?
I'm here. I was trying to add the coupon onto the screen. May not have worked well.
We're going to show it up on the screen in just a second. So hang on. We're going to show you what this promotion is. And this is valid for, it's not valid for just the time frame. It's valid for whenever you decide to purchase a home, as long as you show us a coupon.
Yep. So $1,350 is going to be the total closing cost credit that you can get from us. It won't apply on some down payment assistance programs, so there is some certain conditions that apply, but I think hopefully for most people, the 1% down program that we talked about, you will be eligible for the appraisal credit and the home warranty. So it just depends on which program. There's lots of other types of down payment assistance programs that we didn't even touch on today. But we will talk about a few of those on Thursday, and then we also will be doing our regular Real Talk Tuesday. Next Tuesday, we'll be on TikTok. And then the following week, we'll be back here on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But if you do want to register for the webinar, again, I'll post that link here real quick, is www.azhomebuyerclasses.com will get you the webinar on Thursday, the 17th at 5:30 p.m. Jackie, we had a big face there. There we go. I'm going to go do a quick search of all the different platforms and see if we have any questions that we were ignoring. We do have a question about donuts. Besides glazed, what is your next favorite donut?
Is that an actual question?
Yes, that's a legitimate question.
From a client, from a viewer, or is that from you?
I won't exactly say that.
Okay, I like glazed donuts. That's my favorite, and chocolate donuts.
Glazed and chocolate. Okay.
Chocolate with coconut sprinkles on the top. I like coconut.
Now we know you're a psychopath.
Okay, I do like pizza with pineapple too.
Oh, you're just reinforcing it.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure we all knew.
I'm actually a little weird. I'm not a coconut meat fan.
Coconut meat.
Yeah, the insides, like the coconut that you're talking about, the coconut flakes.
You're crazy.
I'm not a fan of that, but I like coconut milk. I have coconut milk in my coffee every day.
Well, that's because of your gastrointestinal issues.
Is it causing it, or is that the cure? Because it's not the cure. Let me tell you that.
Well, maybe you need to lay off the other dairy products.
I can't give up cheese.
And now gluten, right?
Yeah, I still got to do my blood test though. This is not an exciting thing for me to try to give up gluten or cheese. Like, get away from my cheese already.
Like, how are you going to live? How are you going to live a happy life?
What's the point?
Don't worry, I'll get you a cauliflower pizza.
Ugh.
With organic cheese.
I can't think of anything more disappointing. Oh, well, I think that's probably it then. I don't see any other questions unless you see any questions on your side, and we are straight up 6 o'clock.
I do not. I think this...
Commenting away on Facebook. Or
next time we'll see you back on Thursday. Again, Thursday, 5:30. This is for our webinar, and I hope to see everyone there.
All right. See you soon.